I'm studying psychotherapy in a thing that I can help people. I don't want to go into the drug system. Bipolarity. I was always a little manic. I always talked a lot. But I don't think I'm bipolar until I started taking psychotropics. And I was going through ebbs and flows. See, these drugs are just like opiates. They raise you up and crash you right down. Psychotropics, antidepressants, they're all bad. They absolutely don't take them. Now, how do I get back to this equilibrium of being manic? Like some people are really manic. They say I'm manic. If I'm not eating right, if I'm not sleeping right, I'm manic. So I became a Reiki Grandmaster. I started studying spirituality, meditation, and chakra balance. I hope I'm making sense because there's a lot of people that get labeled manic or bipolar or monodepressive disorders of depression. Well, the first thing I discovered is the holistic therapies are working. Cornell is one of the ones that came up with this, and they're telling people that nutrition has nothing to do with diet. It does. See, when I was in agricultural college, I'm a dropout of agriculture. It's rubbish. You're putting glycogens on farm fields. True Hope and Power, read some of that stuff. Dr. Abram Hoffer explained this micronutritional imbalance. That's part of the problem. Plus, trauma. People's lives, we don't know what trauma they've gone through. Um, and things have to come into balance. I think I'm reading these articles and I'm getting into life coaching, learning a bit of the essence of shamanic journeying and stuff. That's crazy. It brings people like Gestalt therapy and Jungian is not what they're using. Freud is right off the wall. Yeah, Freudian psychiatry is it's it's old order, crazy, stupid uh, psychiatry of retardedness, which is psychiatrically retarded science. Freudian psychiatry, and that was one science I really dropped. The other science is that we're all empathic, we're all one. We pick up on each other. And this is the awakening. Like the diagnostic manual is a bunch of garbage. So other bunch of well, it makes a good paperweight. It makes a good paperweight. If you want to block the door open, you can use the DSM manuals or all you want. There's lots of paperweights. I use paperweight all the time. Typewriter. Don't use it too much other than that. I got paperweights. I read a lot of big heavy books. I'm into horses. And they're just like people. They get traumatized and we get a little whacked. And we can't recognize with the DSM manual that somebody's got post-traumatic stress. But we're always, and I talked to a clinician of the Canadian military, they're doing it all the time with our military, labeling something else that they ain't. Navy SEAL comes to me, hey man, bro, boss, what crap did they have you on? Because I had PTSD, I got shot at driving a simple taxi cab. And then I flipped out. Well, I flipped out and I met another blues player. He was doing the same thing in the 70s. When you drive a cab 24/7 and you're picking up people and listening to the problems and you haven't learned any emotional balance, it to be even a therapist, they're flipping out now. Oh, frig, they're crazy, some of them. I think they're narcissistic control with a lot of those. I'm not putting them down, but I think they flipped out and they can't take it anymore. Psychologists and the ones that are smart get the hell out of it or learn emotional balance, and that's emotional psychology. And if you don't learn it, you can't help. a hoot because you'll burn out. You can't let things go. And anybody that goes out and says meditation is going to make you go psychotic is psychotic. And, and Dr. Carl Jung, an Austrian psychiatrist, they don't like him because he was truthful. He said, the only person with real psychosis is a psychiatrist trying to correct an emotional problem with a drug. I put a bandage. I cut my leg. I put a bandage on it. But sometimes I got to take the bandage off to let it heal a bit more to let the air in. But that's all that is putting a bandage over an emotional problem. And you go, blah. It doesn't get anywhere, but it makes profit. It keeps you sick and medicated. Now, Dr. Abram Hoffer was exactly right. I won't go to a psychiatrist. They're whacked. You want to go to somebody that has some intelligence. They're not intelligent. They're just, they got a university degree. There's lots of university degrees. I know a guy down here, he's got one. I'd call it a PhD of being married 5 times to keep on getting divorced. But he's learned something. Get a prenup and you can keep on doing it. Well, why get married, man? But I got to put humor in it because it's such a poignantly rotten business. Canadian psychiatry should be closed right down that model. Now, Norway went into it, and the Finnish countries are going away from the drug model. It doesn't work. There's a woman in the park. I can tell she's a highly empathic, sensitive woman. She's an artist and a songwriter. But she was working, and she just had a little bit of we used to call it simply, before the DSMs came out, DSM, the district diagnostic, we used to have just a nervous breakdown. Anxiety, overstress, overwhelm. So she goes to him. They put her on pills, and then she realized, oh, God, decent, I can be sick. I took me 20 years to figure out this is killing me. And I got off with holistic help. True Hope and Power got me off of psychotropic drugs. They helped me. But they didn't go out. They knew that there was lawsuits pending. They asked me my permission to get off. I said, yes, can you help me get off? And I got off. We're going to formulate these things. But the drug companies and psychiatry and the whole practice of mandatory medicating has got to end and look at the person's situation. And we haven't even got a decent legal system to protect people from this. And private insurance companies won't insure you if you have a label. And, people do get well. I'm well. Do you think I'm crazy? Could be. But who isn't crazy? What does the DSM manual say about what I'm doing now? Denouncing psychiatry of that form. There's a university course in Toronto. It's a PhD. It's a on anti-psychiatry. Now I'm getting to the point. I don't want to go completely. We need mental health systems because when they're good to have science and knowledge. So I could go extreme and say all psychology, all psychiatry, gone. No, I can't. We have to have systems that work. And the DSM manual is a piece of nonsense. And it's just a paint by numbers struggle. There's ways to get emotional balance. But I think health in general is that balance. Like exercise, walking, fitness, yoga, meditation. There's many things that work. We have to live active, healthy lives. We got to eat right. You'll get there. But anybody that comes out and says you'll never get well is a liar. Or they're just stupid. And it could be that they're just plain stupid. because I've got well, and they've told me I wouldn't get well from diabetes. I don't have diabetes. I wouldn't get well from glaucoma. I don't have diabetes. Now, it could be, I could go into arguments, maybe it's the psychotropic drugs causing it. No, it's just lifestyle changes. And when I freed myself of psychiatric drugs, I started exercising. Let's talk about weight loss. I've lost 100, almost 180 pounds in 5 years. That's a lot of weight. I became a Reiki master in 216. It's 220 now. It's 4 years. I do a lot of self-treatments. I've done a lot of healing and stuff. I continue to learn, but you say that 4 years isn't much. Well, 4 years I've accomplished quite a bit in my own health. 4 years. And that's just the linear concept of how long does it take to become a healer. How long does it take Robert Johnson to play the blues? 6 months. But they must have sold the soul to the devil. We're always getting at how long till the whistle blows. I did this in 4 years. And I look at my whole life, and I'd say, I'm well. I'm angry at times. I think about that racket. But I keep on thinking, what can I do about it? There's not much I can do about it. I'll just show a better way and show you can recover from mental, emotional illnesses like bipolarity. Very easy. I got big fingers. I play piano. I couldn't play it on psychotropic drugs. I can't play it on that. Like lithium throw your fingers up. But they'll come out with stories. I remember reading them in the bipolar books. Oh, they'll go out and kill themselves. Well, the problem with getting off pharmaceutical drugs completely is just terrible. It's a chemical, and it takes time to wean yourself off. Now, you'll go on here and you'll find programs by people that are denouncing psychiatry of its form right now. There's other modalities that will help you get past these imbalances. And I don't think there are problems in yourself. I think it's just every life gives you a challenge, and that's supposed to be that you recover. And there's got to be recovered for everything, and you shouldn't be on a drug that's killing you. No, I'm being serious. And with this blatant blindness of the pharmaceutical doctors being blinded and convinced by the pharmaceutical, and then they get so blatant to denounce things that work. And I wish they wouldn't denounce what works. True hope works. And they tried to shut them down. The research went to Cornell. Dr. Abraham Hoffer was a psychiatrist. 2005, he turned 65, and he didn't need to work. He had money, but he said, I'm going to 2009, that's when he died, I'm going to work in micronutritional supplementation and research. He'd been researching for quite a long time on psychiatry. And he came up with there's elements in our diet that are missing. But here's the complete picture. We're using glycogens on farm fields. I think you could take a study of this. These glycogens are causing depression rates to go up. If you look at the graph of how many documented cases of depression, in what areas, and what locations, and what's the soil sample like. And that's what it is. It's just bad agriculture practices. Some people are very smart. A lot of people with this bipolarity are very intelligent people. Once they're off these drugs and they're eating right, and they're exercising and coming into a balance, you've got very intelligent people. Argo Kidder and Carrie Fisher, they're all bipolar. Jim Carrey, depression, but he got over it. It's creativity. And I look at J.K. Rowling. She was depressed, but she used those inner within a balance. Made a lot of money. J.K. Rowling became the richest woman in the world for a while. And Forbes said, she can't be the richest now. It's not rich. Well, she would give money to women that were going through single moms. That's a depressive thing. Being a single mom and not getting your head together. But she started using her imagination. Like, what are you going to do if you're depressed? You're going to try to shift into something that makes you happy, and it might be creativity, writing beautiful books like Harry Potter. And it made her happy, and she made one hell of a lot. She had more money than the Queen of England. She just kept on. She amalgamated all those stories and got into movies and stuff. Made a fortune. The people they label bipolar or depressive. There's two young girls are sitting there. They're questions. They're pretty girls too. She says, "My boyfriend is really depressed." What do you think that means? He's very intelligent. I like that. You're not looking at a label and saying he's defective. He's conscious. He's waking up. He's going through shifts, conscious shifts. And that's all depression is. If it progresses beyond the depressive state to the joy state. And what the Buddha, let's talk about Buddhist psychology, the Buddha taught the sensation of suffering. Life is suffering. The sensation of life is suffering. And we go into the darkness of the soul. And we suffer. I've done a shamanic journey of 5 months in solitude in a cabin, like Thoreau did, but it was so small. I couldn't do anything. It was winter and I was alone. There's nowhere to go. There's no music, there's no radio, nothing. Just me. And the snow outside piling up. It's like that call of water. When we go into solitude, and that's what the Buddha taught, it's a shamanic journey to come into yourself, face all your demons, and face all your truth. Who are you? You never know. You're always following somebody else's story. So you're always listening to people run you down. Now, you're going to come up and say, I did this wrong, I did that wrong. And I have. I've come into the humbleness that I've done things wrong. But that's life. And I don't beat myself up. I can't beat myself up. I've learned to forgive myself and love myself. I'm not being. We have to do this. We have to come into the first ghost will be this past things you've done wrong. But the self-love will heal that. So you've made a mistake and it's in the past. You have to let it go like a breath of air. I've had a lot of things I've done wrong, and I've had a lot of things I've done right. And I've looked at my life, and this is what everybody should do. First, start taking care of you. Not blaming yourself for the past. Start forgiving yourself. Start moving forward. And now you found the path of happiness. Go from there. Like, it's taken me a lot. Getting in here, I had to go through the baptism of fire. And I got in here and a piece is coming in. And I know the cover is done, but it's not as bad as what I went through. Oh boy, this is a walk in the park. It's so easy to live like this. So I'm grateful. I got a nice little quiet place. I play guitar, I study, and I go for walks. I haven't got many friends here. I got a few. I go and I was playing at the dock one day, and they're down there. These guys are playing with their young guys. I love meeting other musicians because I'm a musician myself. I show them the old licks like Carl Perkins and stuff. These things people were they need to learn because this Clapton, I were learning this old stuff, and that got them somewhere, and it aids them to learn stylizations of old things and apply them and change the rhythmic elements. But I love teaching and I'm good at this. And I love my friends. They're younger than me, a lot younger. They're in their 20s, I'm in my 60s. But they don't see a division there when it comes to music. I'm still an old hippie. Take care.